Wanted Dead is a visceral, bizarre, and stylish action game that's a love letter to 7th gen hack'em-slash'ems and cover shooters. It's also frequently obtuse, janky, and punishingly difficult. While that means Wanted Dead won't be a game for everybody, those who enjoy its unique blend of shooting, fighting, and cyberpunk intrigue will be treated with an unforgettable experience. Despite my personal love for the game, I noticed that it has an intimidating learning curve that doesn't adequately explain its most important systems. So to help make this bonkers game more accessible to newcomers, I've collected tips and tricks discovered over more than 5 playthroughs and compiled them into this video. My name is Lula, and this is the beginner's guide to wrecking shop in Wanted Dead. A lot of players will see Wanted Dead's Team Ninja pedigree and sword-wielding heroine and infer that it's a cyberpunk version of Ninja Gaiden. Other players might see its chest-high walls and heavy weaponry and assume that it's a throwback to classic cover shooters like Gears of War. But Wanted Dead isn't a cover shooter or a melee fighter. It's both. When approaching this game, it's important to not let yourself fall into habits developed in other games. Blocking with your sword is limited, and melee enemies will quickly flush you out of cover. Quickly switching between close and long-range combat is critical to success, and where Wanted Dead carves out its own unique identity. The best way to get started in learning Wanted Dead's combat is to play through the tutorial and handful of training missions. They're all available from the beginning of the game and are accessible at any time from the Game Over screen. Even if you're intimately familiar with action games, these low-stakes exercises are a great way to get familiar with Wanted Dead's idiosyncrasies and ideally prevent some frustration in the main game. In these training missions, you'll be introduced to the main tools of your arsenal: an assault rifle for ranged combat, katana for melee strikes, and a pistol for staggering enemies and interrupting unblockable attacks. When fighting at range, the goal is to quickly flank enemies and fire safely from behind cover. When engaging in close combat, the goal is to set your opponent up for a finisher as quickly as possible. Like Sekiro, Wanted Dead's melee combat discourages turtling up and encourages aggressive play to stagger enemies and set them up for an instant kill finishing blow. Every enemy has an invisible stagger bar, which you can fill up through parries, sword attacks, and pistol interrupts. Once an enemy is staggered, they'll flash white and will be open to a finishing move that ends the conflict in spectacular fashion. Finishing moves also bring with them a chance to replenish lost health in the easy, normal, and hard difficulties. Finally, combat builds your adrenaline meter. When it's full, you can unleash a flurry of pistol shots that will instantly stagger most regular enemies, allowing you to blitz through them with chained finishers. There are, however, some things that the tutorial doesn't explain, the most important of which is canceling. The first time you go at somebody with your sword, it might feel sluggish and unresponsive. Most attacks have lengthy recovery animations that leave you open to retaliation, and healing is a slow and risky proposition. But what if I told you that all those recovery animations could be skipped? Nearly every action and recovery animation in Wanted Dead can be cancelled by guarding, dodging, shooting your pistol, or initiating a finishing move. Guard cancelling especially is the key to dramatically expanding your combo options during melee combat. After any attack, quickly tap the guard button to cancel out of the recovery animation and immediately begin another attack. You can use this technique to chain together different combos into an unrelenting assault on your enemy. If you're already guarding and the enemy attempts an unblockable attack, you can shoot your pistol while holding the guard button to cancel your guard and counter the special attack. And if you're low on health while in combat, hit the heal button and immediately dodge to skip the animation and keep moving. Finishing moves can be used to cancel nearly any attack as well. Once you proceed to the game's campaign, you'll find yourself in a variety of environments filled with obstacles and geography to navigate. Always remember, the geography is your friend. Use it to isolate enemies, flank groups, and protect yourself. Melee enemies will always charge you, while riflemen will typically stay back to take potshots from afar. You can turn this to your advantage by kiting the melee fighters away from their ranged support, giving cover between you and your opponent. Later in the game, you'll even unlock access to incendiary grenades, which allow you to temporarily alter the geography, control enemy routes, and make certain boss fights a heck of a lot easier. You can switch to incendiary grenades by holding the grenade button and pressing left or right on the D-pad. And when making your way around these environments, always be sprinting. Mobility is key in Wanted Dead, and you have unlimited sprinting, so use it. There's literally no downside. Sprinting between cover will make you harder to hit, you can unlock sprinting attacks that knock back enemies and leave them open for easy attacks, and you can even reload while sprinting. Speaking of reloading, ammo can be scarce in Wanted Dead, and you can easily find yourself in a tough spot with no ranged options for combat. The best tool to prevent this from happening is your gun's fire rate switch. By pressing up on the D-pad, you can swap between full auto and single shot. When engaging in long-range combat, accuracy is everything, so be sure to switch to single shot and aim for the head. Headshots do an incredible amount of damage, and decreasing your fire rate means you won't spend any more ammo than is absolutely necessary to get the kill. Full auto is best for medium-range combat or when you need to shoot from the hip. There's even an advanced technique where you can exploit openings during melee combat to unload your rifle on an enemy at point-blank range. But that's for another time. You get 50 XP for all hidden documents and 100 XP for every new collectible you get in the crane game on the top floor of the police station. Collect as much as you can early on to make a big dent in your skill tree and get an early game advantage. Speaking of the skill tree, everything on here is worth getting, but I prioritize guard strength increase, grenade unlocks, and the ability to instantly finish dismembered enemies. Also, I recommend unlocking Cortez's assist attack before the 3rd mission and Doc's Revive Overdrive, which gives an additional med pack and fills your adrenaline meter when revived during a mission before the 4th mission. When customizing your rifle, it's best to focus on maxing out accuracy, damage, and armor piercing. You should be firing in short controlled bursts or single shot anyway, so don't worry about having a low recoil score. For the pistol, it's all about stopping power. Most enemy mobs are triggered by crossing a threshold, so be mindful of your positioning. If you need some space when fighting a tough enemy, pull them back through already cleared areas instead of pushing forward. This will help prevent you from getting overwhelmed with newly spawned enemies. If you're still having difficulty with Wanted Dead but want to see it through to the end, I recommend unlocking the Easy mode. It does require a new game start, but simply enter the code at the main menu and the Easy mode will be available to choose when you're starting a new game. This will give you some incredibly helpful benefits and also fit Hannah with some cat ears. For more tips, be sure to check out Jim Jam's excellent video on advanced techniques by following the link in the description. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up and let me know if you'd like to see more Wanted Dead videos like a deep dive into the game's story.